But you know a real big problem? I like watching television and have the winner is, right? You might not hear it for months because this is a mess. Go back and study what happened in Iowa. Take a look. Take a look at what happened in New York in a small congressional race. Carolyn Maloney. She should have lost the race, in my opinion. They gave it to her because it was a crooked deal. The guy that she ran against was having fits. He said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Everything was mixed up. The ballots were lost. There was fraud. There was everything. Go into Paterson, New Jersey. These are just recently. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And the only one that knows it better than we do are the Democrats. They know this is going to happen. They want it to happen because they want to go through a court system. And instead, you're not going to hear, very unlikely that you're going to hear winner that night. I could be leading, and then they'll just keep getting ballots and ballots and ballots and ballots, because now they're saying that the ballots can come in late. Well, what does that mean? And more importantly, they're going to be given, in some cases, a week or 2 weeks to count the ballots. So if we're waiting for one state, now think of it. If we're waiting, and they're talking about 5, 6, 7 states that have this problem. So if we're waiting for one state, does that mean the whole nation, the whole world is going to wait for one state? I won't use any names, but you have Pennsylvania, where you have a Democrat who, by the way, lost the case last week. We sued. We want him to open up his state, and we won on constitutional grounds. North Carolina, they have the state all locked up. So we're talking about, these are the governors that run their states for Democrats. They really do. I mean, they run them. They're Democrat governors, and they're in charge of the count. We went to Nevada to make a speech. We had 5 different sites. The governor made it impossible, so we ended up at a different site. We had to get one This is the guy that's in charge of ballots. He was a political hack. Now he's the governor. And this guy is in charge of ballots. It's not going to work. It's going to be a disaster. And I want a smooth, beautiful transition, but they don't add the other part. But it's got to be an honest vote. And everybody knows. Just go back again. Look at Iowa. Look what happened. Just take a look at that. They still don't know who won. They didn't know weeks later. Remember, New Hampshire went. New Hampshire declared a winner. And essentially, they don't know what happened in Iowa. Except the difference is we're doing the same thing, but with tens of millions of ballots. This is a disaster waiting to happen, and they shouldn't let this system go. If you ask for a ballot, it's called solicited. You solicit. You want the ballot. It comes in. You sign it. You send it back. That's okay. But where they send millions and millions of unsolicited ballots, people get ballots they didn't even know they were getting them. Sign it. Sign it. Then there are people going around getting it to sign. You know, when you have that, you don't need it. We have much more enthusiasm. We're so high up on enthusiasm, right? But it's very unfair, because when you have somebody go knock on your door, sign, it's called harvesting. They're going to harvest ballots, even though in some cases, in most cases, it's illegal. It's illegal as hell, and it should be illegal. So this is a disaster waiting to happen, and the only hope we have, really, other than going through a long, unbelievable litigation at the end after it's over, because we're going to win. We're not going to lose this except if they cheat. That's the way I look at it. But we can't let them cheat. We can't let them. It's too much. Our country is at stake, and that's true. Our country is at stake because these people will destroy our country. We can't let this happen. And this is a scam. They know it. The media knows it, but the media doesn't want to cover it. They know exactly what's going to happen, and so do I. But the Democrats know better than all of us what's going to happen. So we can't let it, and if you see anything, you just have to report it and everything. We're all watching. Law enforcement's watching all over the place, but it's very hard to watch. You know, millions of ballots, very hard to watch. And it's the only way that's the only way we're going to lose is if there's mischief, and it'll have to be on a big scale. So be careful. And we do want a very friendly transition, but we don't want to be cheated and be stupid and say, oh, let's transit. We'll go and we'll do a transition. And we know that there were thousands and thousands of ballots that made the difference through cheating. We're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for it. So just remember, Keep your eyes open.